Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 19th of 2025, and what's really surprising right now is that there is a major shift happening within the media. We know that there are a lot of ratings disasters going on simultaneously, and one in particular has a lot to do with ABC's The View, featuring Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin, and how they've been reacting to the ratings disaster via ABC and the Walt Disney Company is actually quite shocking. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we all know that whoever runs the Walt Disney Company, we all know who his name is. That is, of course, Bob Iger, the Disney CEO. And as I like to call him, Bob Iger, all he does is lie to the general public, to investors, to those that are invested within the Walt Disney Company. We all know that there's a lot of things going on with Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny as well, and how they're handling the ratings downward spiral that's going on right now for The View. And even the long, loyal fans of The View, the ones that just bought everything that they actually said, are now beginning to actually see through their lies and see through the mask and running in the other direction. So let's go into this because there's a lot to discuss. Now, we know one thing about The View is that their ratings have been pretty much a emotional roller coaster for a lot of the ABC producers and executives as of late. It has been, acting in a very erratic way where it was going up and down, and then lately now it's been in a downward trend. And that goes for the Disney Company in general as well, after so many box office failures and failed attempts for Disney Plus and more. But this in isolation, this really just goes to show you that the market is no longer there for people like Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny to go spouting out their nonsense on live television. Let's jump into this. Now, with the hosts of The View still to this day doubling down on their political agenda and forcing it onto the public in the midst of their ratings disaster for both ABC and Disney, one monumental development for ABC executives involves more to do with Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and Sunny Hostin once again snapping at the public over their ratings disaster for The View. Now, Sunny Hostin stated, by delivering the following to actually get her point across. Our freedom of expression, she says, is beyond hindered and impaired at this point over MAGA's voice, who is nothing more than a loud minority, changing the minds of so many young American citizens. And as a result of that, this impacts the performance of programs such as ours on live television. And look, as one who loves to involve myself in activism, I'm also no executive, but I can tell you right now that what MAGA is saying about us and the entire team working on The View, we are dealing with many challenges with the numbers. And if that doesn't scream authoritarian, I don't know what else does. Trump and his supporters take pride in controlling others and controlling the entire narrative. It's their purpose in life to watch others fail on television, and that's the most pathetic thing I think I have ever seen coming out of this administration, and we have seen this from Trump himself, putting the 100% tariff on movies that aren't made in America. He's a control freak, and so are all of those part of the MAGA gang, which mostly consist of sexist, racist, and misogynists. Now guys, let me say one thing right there for a second. She kind of sounded like Robert De Niro there, where she actually called MAGA the MAGA gang there. That's the one thing that really came to mind quickly. But one thing about this that Sunny Hostin is obviously getting very bitter about is that she doesn't really quite know who to blame anymore when it comes to the ratings failure of The View. She's pointing fingers at MAGA, at Trump, and that's it. She's not pointing fingers at the long, loyal fans that, yes, they are even leaving. And people are just done with The View, and people are beginning to just get over it at this point. And we all know that this goes for other media outlets out there. MSNBC and their shows are dealing with a lot of problems. That's why they cut back on the number of anchors over there, the number of shows, and there will be more cutoffs in 2026 that we'll be talking about further as well. But one thing about The View in particular, though, is that we know that this show has been pretty much on a very slow downward spiral, right? And they have been erratic throughout 2024 and the beginning of this year. But so far now, I think that the market is showing that the market for this show is just non-existent. People are waking up to all of the lies that pretty much the entire media has been spewing out for like the past 10, 15 years. Now, Joy Behar then chimed in about the ratings. It's one thing, she says, to go calling us names, but to interfere with our business by telling others that we are phony or fake and lying to the American people is lunacy. This man needs to stop, and it's why we are having a rough time with the numbers for sure. Everything is unpredictable right now for us, and it does put pressure on not just us, but I think about the dozens of crew members who do an excellent job here at The View. Shame on MAGA and shame on Trump for putting us in this position. Now, Whoopi Goldberg then briefly touched on the ratings disaster for The View. Look, every program has their ups and downs. Sometimes a long downturn, but it's another thing when you are dealing with difficulties because of one man's voice and his entire group that just buys whatever promises he makes. He is the sole individual why the media is in a troubling time right now, and why we are facing the same issue here as well, where we are painted as liars and phonies, as Joy Behar pointed out. It's maddening to go around saying that this is what we are doing. We are living in a time where anti-media culture is on the rise, and we here at The View, we are beginning to see the effects of that, and it worries me not just for our crew, but for all the media outlets out there that try and deliver the truth about this man, Donald Trump, who is just unhinged and out of control right now. It's hard to believe that we have put up with his nonsense for a year of his behavior already as it is. So, again, there's Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar chiming in, delivering what they have to say about the ratings and what they have to say about the media in general. And look, it is true. Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny, they have lied to everybody out there. So for them to say that they have never lied to the American people and to those that actually tuned into The View for so many years is actually just going to show you exactly who they're really all about, where they all come from, and who they represent. They represent Disney, but more importantly, who they really represent is BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. In case you guys don't know who they are the top 3 shareholders of the Walt Disney Company. Just to let you know, they are all for DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion over merit, over proper storytelling, over proper character development, over proper casting for movies, stuff like that. They just want the narrative shoehorned into every single IP or property out there. So, again, we know one thing about Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny is that this is damage control. You know, just go blame MAGA, just go blame Trump, just go blame Trump supporters. And I think what's happening right now is that, yes, whether you like or dislike Trump, that's fine. You're all welcome here below in the comments, by the way. There is a lot of drama going on with the whole Epstein files case thing, and I think what's happening right now is that you have a lot of those in the media, such as Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny, hopping on that bandwagon and using that drama as a way to piggyback their narrative and to really use that as leverage to get their voice out there even more so. So I think that's exactly what's happening. Anytime there's some kind of drama with Trump or anything with, the Trump administration or anything like that, they will actually come forward and they will just say whatever they have to say and blame MAGA this, MAGA that on their, misfortunes. So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about the hosts of The View and their expression of why the ratings are failing for The View in general. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today and everything else related to Disney and ABC and what's going on in the media right now, let me know what you guys have to say about that below, and I will catch you guys later.